and I came back. One thing that you're going to need is a drill. Before you start, I did everything correctly, and it just... Okay, I was going to make a video, then I changed my mind. I had to go somewhere, and I came back, and I decided that since I'm sort of about halfway through, I can show you the main points of what I've done, and it's actually done. I don't have to walk you through it. Alright, I'm making a video here before I put on my hood bug deflector. This is an NV 1500, but this bud deflector will work for the 2500, 3500 passenger van. It's pretty much the same thing. I already started because I had to go somewhere, so I wasn't going to make a video, but I'm going to go ahead and make a video. And I'm just going to show you there's only a couple things that aren't in the instructions that you have to kind of figure out yourself. It's pretty simple, and such as the corners, these things right here, they give you a little template to put these on. That's pretty self-explanatory. It's actually stuck on there, and here's a C-bolt that they talk about that goes through it. But I'll explain it to you. I haven't put it on yet, and then you'll be drilling some holes underneath, which you kind of have to guess, because they say drill 2 holes, but you're actually drilling 6. They have 6 arrows, so you'll figure it out for yourself. Let me get to it here, where I'm at, and continue with this video. Now, one thing that you're going to need is a drill. I actually have a power supply that I brought outside here. They're about 90 bucks at Home Depot or wherever, Walmart. And I just plug my drill in or get AC power wherever I'm at. But you're going to need a drill, whether power or battery powered. And they talk about taping your drill bits, as you see right here. You're going to use a 1/8 and a 5/16 so that you don't go through the hood when you're drilling. You really can't go through unless you're going crazy. You just, control your hands. But if you want to put the tape on there, that's what they're talking about there. Get a good shot of it. That's it. It's really 10 millimeters, which is almost about a little over 3/4 of an inch. It's not a big deal. Just that it's in the instructions. They say tape your drills, and I went ahead and taped them. Okay, now I'm going to back up a little bit here. When I first started, one of the first things they do is say get a template. This is their template that they give you, and you put it on the edge. I had my hood open, of course, but anyway, you put it on the very edge of your hood, and you do it, and then you go to the other side and you simply flip it over and put on the other edge of the hood. This is the driver's side. And when you're holding it there, you've got this little part that they give you, I forget what they call it, but it's got double-sided tape in here, down in there, and you just stick it to the back, and then you hold the template there. You tape the template there with masking tape, actually, and make sure it's lined up with the bottom of your hood in the corner right here. And then you just set it. I dropped it here. You just set it right between there, and that's where that's going to stay. Okay, later on you're going to put this screw, they call it a C screw. You're going to put a screw through and put your deflector on, and then you're going to set some holes on the inside, which I'll show you in a minute. And then you take your deflector off. You're going to use a marking pen and put your holes in. You got to start drilling. So I'm going to stop for a second. All right, now I've gone ahead and popped the hood. This is actually a 2017 Nissan cargo van. Up above here, you can see, I'm going to back up a little bit, you're going to end up with 6 holes total. This one, which is, you put your deflector, I'll call it, you actually have brackets that go on this side and then over here on this side. There aren't any holes in your hood. There's no actual hole here, but you make the hole. Once you have the brackets on there, they have you take these things right over here, and here's the one on the other side, and you mount your bug deflector on there, and then and the brackets you put on your deflector, which I'll pull out in a minute, will line up right here, and you take a marker and you put a dot here, and then you start with a 1/8 inch drill and then a 5/16 drill. So you drill a 1/8 hole, you center punch first, and then you put your hole there, and then you put a hole on this side. So you'll have 2 holes. These 4 holes are here as part of you. They come with the vehicle on the hood, but they're smaller, and when you're done with the 1/8 inch hole on this side and over there on this side, which you put a marker when you put the bug deflector on, your brackets that you mount on the bug deflector will line up right here, and you put a marker hole and drill that hole. When you're done, you just take the 5/16 drill and you go right through these holes. Now when I was done, because it's raw and it can rust, I got Rust-Oleum, some rust, Rust-Oleum rust-resistant paint, some white gloss paint, and put it on all the holes. I did it a couple times. I let it dry for the last 3 hours I've been gone, and so I'm ready to proceed and get out the bug deflector now. Okay, now that I have 6 holes, the instructions say to wrap this protective tape. There's 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wrap it. It's clear. It peels off the back over the edge of the hood. And I thought it was to cover the holes, like place them over the hole and go ahead and put the thing. But it literally wraps around the corner of the hood. I guess in case the plastic hood deflector keeps bumping against your hood or something, they want that tape on there. So it's going to be right where your holes are. You're just going to curl it around the edge of the hood to protect the bumping of the hood detector. It's kind of a little insulation, and it's clear. It's completely clear. There's 6 of them, and it's just going to literally curl around the hood, and it is called protective tape. It's number H with your kit, so or letter H. And it's going to wrap around the hood. That's the next thing I'm going to do. So you're not going to be able to see it once I put it on there, but I'm going to have 6 of them wrapped right where the holes are. That's where they do that just so it's spaced out. So when your bug deflector, I guess, bangs against the hood, it won't mark it or something. I do not know, but that's some kind of protective gizmo they came up with. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to do that, and I shall return. By the way, one of the things that you're going to need is rubbing alcohol, and you're going to wash your car. You're going to wash that area of the hood really good, bottom and top, and then get some at least 90% alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and just get a clean. I got a t-shirt and just cut it up, and I just make it a lint-free shirt is what it's supposed to be, and just clean it, so that all the stuff sticks on there really good, because you're going to be putting double-sided tape, and you're going to put these little things on there, and you want them, you want no grease at all, so you need the alcohol to clean it off of there. All right, I'm going to try and put one of these on with one hand here. It's going on right in front of the hole. If you can see the hole there, I don't know if you can see this thing, but it's going to go on right there. And in that way, see, wherever a hole is, the bug deflector is going on here, but there'll be a bracket right here. And so that bracket, I mean, it seems pretty cheesy, this little skinny thing, but the bracket is going to be rubbing right here. So I guess this is going to be enough, but it's a little metal bracket, and it's going to be bolted in here, come around and hold and mount to the bug deflector. But I guess kind of getting dark out here, so anyway, that's that. Well, there's 6 of them total. I'm not going to take you through all of them. Okay, for the next step, you're going to take these brackets here, and there's a bolt. This little black thing is a nut. It's got threads right at the very top. I thought it was just rubber all the way through, but so the screw, these are the bolts. These little bolts that come in the kit. You're going to take a small washer, the bolt, and this is called a nut, this little black rubber thing. It's got threads in the very end, at this end. And then you're going to take this, and you take 2 of them, and they're going to be mounted in the 2 center holes that you put up in your hood. They're just going to, you're going to screw or put this end, you're just going to go in, it's just going to set in there. It doesn't sit in there tight. And you're going to tighten this up, this right here, just push it on up in there, and this end has threads in here where you're going to have a black shorter bolt that's going to actually bolt to your hood deflector. So 2 of these, and I can get 2 of these prepared and just stick them into the hood. They'll just be sitting there kind of loose until I get the hood deflector on, and then they're all going to be screwed onto these things, right? You know, this little opening right here has threads in it. Okay, so interesting fact, when you tighten these little rubber things right here, the reason there's threads only on the top is because as you tighten them, it brings it down and they expand, and that's why they will be tight in the hole, the holes that you made. Okay. All right. I have returned. My battery went dead because I had to use GPS to go somewhere and come back. And then so anyway, I got a battery hooked to my phone right now. Okay, so this is going to be the 5th and 6th. You're going to have 6 holes total. And the 5th and 6th one going exactly the same. They have the bolt, the washer, the little rubber nut that gets squished. But these 2, the last 2 that go into the 2 outside holes of the 4, there's 4 center holes, and the 2 outside of those 4, these 2, only difference is, oh my God. Okay, now I'm back at the vehicle here. There's going to be a total of 8 of these clips. 2 are stick-ons, the ones on the end. They're actually not clips, but brackets they call them. 4 will be in the middle, which have been the 4 screws that come with the van underneath the hood. You just take a drill and make them bigger to 5/16 from the 4 screws that are or 4 holes that are already there. You just make the holes bigger, and then of course the one on the other side, that's 6. Now there's 2 more that initially you put on the brackets when you use to make a guideline to where to put the holes right here. You put it on the deflector, I mean the brackets, and then you took a marker and you put holes so you knew where to drill in the vehicle. Now at the end they tell you take them off. This is one I took off already. And then you're going to take the rubber, they call it a nut, that's going to squish down and stay in the hole, and you're going to mount the 2 more brackets. So you'll have a total of 8 brackets. You'll have 1, and then the 4 in the middle, the 1 on the outside like that one, and then you're going to take the ones you take off the deflector and you made these holes right here by putting them on the deflector, and then it's a little bit dark here, but the hole right there is 5/16. All the holes you make will be 5/16, and you made this hole by putting it on the deflector, putting the deflector up to the vehicle, and using the bracket as a template, putting a marker through, putting a dot, and then drilling a hole. Okay, that's it. It's on the hood right there, just down on each side. So it'll be a total of 8. The 6 that are on here, and then you're going to take those brackets back off the deflector, which I'm doing right now, and you're going to mount them on the car. So you have 8 brackets that the deflector itself will screw to. So I'm going to take a break and put them on. Now this is a picture of the rubber nut on the bolt with the washer on the bracket before you put it in. This nut, this rubber nut, is actually going to squish down. There's threads right in the end, metal threads, and as I tighten it, it'll squish down like a donut and grab the hole really good. Alright, I have the 8 of them on at this point. So this is, there they are, 4 in the center, 1 right for the edge, and then this one is taped on. The other ones, like I said, are actually bolted through the frame with screws that you actually drill. 6 5/16 inch drill bit you're going to have. So that's all 8 of them on there, and all I have to do now is put the deflector on, and they're going to get screwed. Each one looks exactly like this on the end, and I'm just going to screw the bolt on in there. So let me get the deflector out and get it done. Now, after a little difficulty trying to line this up, I figured the easiest way to line it up, these are the holes. You can see there's little slots here. That's my finger on the other side of it, where it's going to line up with the actual brackets. I'll pull it back a bit. There's the bracket hole. There's a hole. They have a little slot. But the easiest way is just to lift up your hood and let it balance. I was trying to hold it and start in the middle, and it's getting a little difficult. So I just lifted the hood up, as you can see, and just set the deflector on there. Now I'm going to screw the bolts in very easily. Remember, before you start putting bolts in or anything in an engine, put some kind of blanket out. So if you drop a bolt, it will be there to pick up. I did actually drop one, and I'm glad I did that. Now remember, these bolts are going into fiberglass, and so I've actually saw online some people that were putting these in, and they complained because it cracked. It's going to crack, you know, if you're going to really torque them down. So just make them snug. You could go get little rubber thin washers if you want. I just put some Loctite on it, but the last thing you're going to do is once you tighten these down, and I went back and forth, kind of rotated, just made them loose, went from side to side, and then just slowly went back 3 or 4 times and just snugged them, is close the hood and make sure it closes good. So I'm going to give that a shot in a second here. Let me put this down. One thing I did almost forget, the center mark is there's a notch in the middle of the bottom, and they say go to the edges and measure to the center, but bottom line is this pole or this hook to catch for your hood is in the center, and as you can see, I did everything correctly, and it just lines up right dead in the center. No one's going to stand in front of your van anyway and go, hey, that's 1/8 off. So, but anyway, that is the center notch of your deflector. Okay, that's it. It's on there. I had to do it. I'm actually in somebody else's property. I did this in about a total of an hour and a half. Started one day and then came out for the last half hour today. It's just step-by-step process. The longest part was waiting for the paint I put on, the Rust-Oleum paint, to dry, but it came out pretty nice. I would have rather done it at my house in the driveway, but it's just the way it is. I was somewhere else when I started this, and I hope that helped. Have a good one. And I came back. One thing that you're going to need is a drill. 8 before you start, I did everything correctly, and it just